Good morning, students. As you know that I have already taken your two lectures, and in first lecture I had taught first lesson of your textbook Flamingo, and in second lecture I taught the grammar part. Okay, that I have already taught, but just I have did the revision in that. So let's see here. We move towards our second chapter, and the name of the chapter is Lost Spring. Actually, it's a big one. That's why I have written only Lost Spring. And the next heading is Stories of Stolen Childhood. Okay. So students, before starting this lesson, I want to explain something about why the author Anis Jung has narrated about the stories of the stolen childhood. What does it mean? Means stolen childhood means what? You know, students, have you seen the rag pickers? They are just roaming here and there for collecting the garbage. Whenever we are watching at them, we are just laughing and making comments over them. But whenever we are familiar with or we have a acquaintance with their situation, then we can say that pity over them, kindness in our mind. We can create the generosity for them. So, because we can familiar with the actual situation of the children. That is what the Anis Jung is saying here. Stories means what? Their stories of lost childhood means what? In their life, they haven't enjoyed their childhood. Because you know, in childhood, we don't have so much responsibilities and we are just enjoying our life. Okay, whatever we want to like, whatever we want to do, we are just doing that thing. But these children have to work from their childhood only. Their parents have a need of money. They have we can say that, earn their livelihood, and because of fulfilling their needs, that is why all family members were involved in the work, whatever they are doing. So here, Lost Spring has two stories. First story is about the rag pickers, and the second is about the bangle makers. So very nicely Anis Jung narrated here what is the, we can say that, the humor of their life. Okay, what is the sadness in their life? Why their life is like that so? Okay, that we have to learn here. So first, as you know, in MCQ, if there will be MCQ this year also, then from the introduction you will come the question. So here the lesson of the starting is just like that. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. This is the first lines of the lesson. It means what? Whenever the rag pickers are going for a collection of the rag, or we can say that papers or whatever, at that time sometimes they are able to find the rupee coins also. So they are very happy with this. So first, about the author I have written here. She was, Anis Jung was born in 1964 in Rourkela, and she spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad, and her early education she has taken in Hyderabad only, but later she went to USA and completed her final education. Then last one year, in this story she is analyzing the grinding poverty and tradition of the student, of the children, which condemned the children of, means which blames them, or which we can say that makes them life exploitation. The life he is becoming exploiting with them. And here the characters are there. First one is the Sahib. He is a boy. He is a 9, 10 or 15 years, we can say, years old boy. And author herself is talking about him. So what is given? Let's see. As I told you, the starting lines of this chapter is sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. So here, writer is saying that when she met with the Sahib, Sahib is a rag picker boy, and he used to pick up the rags in the early morning. That is their daily work, and they have to do this work because they don't have any option for it. And whenever the author met him and directly asked him that why are you doing this type of work, first the author asked the name of the boy, that what is your name? So the boy answered that his name is Sahib. So the author simply just asked that, do you know the name of the Sahib? So he told that Sahib means the head. Okay, that is why my name is like that. So the author then further asked him that what are you doing? So he explained that I am just picking the rats because our livelihood is going over this stuff, and that is why I used to come in the morning and roaming in the societies, and whatever I found I just sell it and get the collect of money. So here the author asking that boy that do you are you going to school? So the boy laughed and he is saying that no. So the writer is saying that as you are not going to school, then why you are doing such a thing? Because you are so small boy and you have to go to school and learn something new. So the boy replied and said very nicely that means author को बोल रहा है कि it is not possible for us to join the school because our family has so much pressure over us to earn something, because we don't have the time to learn because we are busy in earning money only. How they are going, and very nicely the writer has explained that how they are going there and collecting the garbage. So the writer is saying that why you are coming here in the cities areas as you have the particular area given then also. So the Sahib is saying that in our area we are not getting proper garbage, that is why I come in the city nearby areas, and garbage is gold for them. Here the author is saying to him that what is the name of the means what are you saying this garbage as a gold. So he is saying that garbage is gold for us because our livelihood is going over on us. Our livelihood depends on only that garbage. That is why we are calling it gold. So here the Sahib met with author in the fields of Dhaka. Okay, and it is a distant place, and the boy's mother is also be there, and they are living nearby areas of the cities, because you know in the cities slum areas are not we can say that allowed. That's why the people are living nearby areas surrounding the city areas, and they are building their slums and whatever. So they are the Sahib is used to live there, and after months again the Sahib was met with the author. So author has a curiosity in his mind. That is why he again asked the Sahib, just tell me your whole name. What is your whole name? So Sahib explained that Sahib-e-Alam. My name is Sahib-e-Alam. And again the author asked him that do you know the name of it, Sahib-e-Alam? So he knows that. He said that I am the Lord of the universe. Sahib-e-Alam means he is supposed to be, according to his name, is a Lord of the universe. So that the writer further asked, sorry students, the writer further asked him that you don't wear the chappals, you don't have that. So the boy is just laughing. Actually, वो बोल रहा है author को कि actually I am having the chappals, but my mother kept them in the shelf only. So my mother is not ready to give that chappals. That's why I am not wearing. Very simply he has answered. Very simply, without any nervousness. He just saying like that. Hearing this, the author just laughed on him and further said that today I am saying that you wore the shoes. They both shoes are different. Why is that so? So the what's his name? Sahib is saying that in the cities and the village roads we used to walk with barefoot only, but sometimes we are getting this type of shoes from the garbage, and we used to wear such shoes. So here the writer, when the Sahib told this thing to the author remembered one incident of Udupi village. Udupi is the village, okay, and the author is saying here that once upon a time whenever he used to go in the temple, and there the priest was living. So the priest's son was very curious to wear the shoes, and he demanded the shoes from his father. But the priest was not able to buy the new shoes for his son, and that is why whenever the writer came after 30 years there from the same village named Udupi, and he saw that the boy was big one and he had wore the shoes. Means what? The thought came in the mind of the author that maybe that little boy prayed to the God that I don't want anything, but just please help me to bring the shoes for me. Okay, and that is why the boy got the shoes. And now whenever after 30 years, the author found that the new priest came there his son was also be there, and his son has a very good shoes, new school bag, books, whatever, and he is very means he seated very comfortably in his house. Means the thought came in the minds of the author is that maybe before 30 years the boy had made the prayer that God please help me that I want to get the shoes, and that is why because of his prayer the new priest's son was able to wear the shoes. Means students see here, shoes is a very, we can say that, simple thing. Actually we are not listening or thinking about shoes. Okay, we are just wearing. Actually in our home we are having 4 or 5 or 10 pairs. Okay, so we don't bother. But for the children like Sahib, they have a much more importance of shoes for them. Because as I told you, they don't have the facility of shoes or chappals, and that is why they have to wander in the, they have to roam in the soil, in the villages barefooted only. Because no one is ready to buy them the shoes for them. So here again, the writer is saying that the writer has taken the name of the particular area, the name of the area is Simapuri. So the writer is saying that actually I found the rat pickers are used to live in the Simapuri area. It is the area nearby the periphery of Delhi. Periphery means on the border of the Delhi, and the whole family of the rat pickers are used to live there only. And there, here the writer is saying that the area is filled with sewage, then drainage system is not available, water is running here and there, all the dirt is spread there, and nearly 10,000 rat pickers are living. Students, whatever I am explaining, 10,000, Udipi village, okay, Simapur is the area situated nearby Delhi. ये तुमको याद रखना है, MCQ में वो आएगा. Clear? So here the writer came to know that nearly 10,000 rat pickers are used to live there. Their huts are very old, the doors of their huts are broken, the walls sometimes, some houses doesn't have the walls also. So here the writer is saying that the children were growing up then, okay, the family had just leave them on their survival only. The family has no time to spend with them, and that is why they are just leave their children. And the children are used to keep or pick the garbage. Whenever at the childhood, the children are just picking up the garbage for the enjoyment purpose. They are getting much enjoy in that. But whenever it becomes the responsibility, then whatever they enjoyed in the childhood is lost. That is why the writer is saying that from the childhood only, these people or the children of these people used to do that type of work from the childhood only. Okay, have you seen that the Tangawalas and whatever the Ghodagadi, whenever their son is a small kid not but like you, 16 or 17 or 15, 16 years old, and whenever he was riding that horse cart, then he is enjoying, okay, because he is young, the boy is young, he doesn't have any responsibilities for him, and that is why riding the cart is a fun for him. But once that riding a cart is a responsibility for him, then what happens? He is not doing this work in much excitement that he was doing that work previously. That is the difference, responsibility and enjoyment. Okay, like you are coming to school every day, enjoying a lot, studying whatever you are thinking and you are doing so. But as soon as after 10 years, you will be a responsible person, so many responsibility came over you. At that time, you are not free like today. Okay, and that is why we are always saying that school days cannot be forgotten. And whenever we are remember these school days, we are so excited and we are feeling happy in our mind. Okay, so that is the difference between the responsibility and the work done for the enjoyment. So here the writer is saying that whenever I visited that Simapuri area, I found that the rat pickers are doing their work daily, but the children of theirs are doing the same work, but they are enjoying in doing that work. Because why? Because they are just doing their work for the enjoyment purpose only. They don't have the responsibility over them. So the writer is saying here that the children grow up in them, become the partners in their survival, and through the years it has acquired the proportions of the fine art. Then slowly and gradually they become the masters of rat pickers. Because from the childhood only they used to do the same work, and after few years means 4, 5 or 10 years, they become the masters of the, means they become the professional rag picker, we can say. So garbage to them is gold. As I told you, garbage to them is gold. Why? It is their daily bread. Bread means their livelihood. And a roof over their heads. Even if it is a leaking roof, but for a child it is even more. Means in rainy season they have facing some problem, their house is not proper, then also it has some importance for them. And the garbage is gold for them because they are two times bread. That means bread means it suggests the food. They are getting the food of their daily 2 times in whatever they are eating at them. And they can get the shelter there in Simhapuri, wherever they are building the huts. Actually they are illegal, but for them this is only their property. So the writer means Sahib is making the conversation with the author, and further the Sahib is saying that I sometimes find a rupee, even 10 rupee note. Sahib says his eyes lighting up. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging, for there is hope of finding more. It seems that for a children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder. For the elder, it is means of survival. Yes, that is I have already explained. It is just given in the textbook. What the Sahib is saying to author, that sometimes I am finding means I will get the 10 rupee note from the garbage. So at that time I was feeling very happy. Why? Because I got the 10 rupee note. And the curiosity increase in our mind, all our small children, and we are searching for more in that garbage only. Means we have a hope in our mind that maybe we will get the more points here, and that is why the curiosity arose in our mind and we are searching the garbage for it. Actually, whatever the work the children are doing here, it is just for the, we can say that their wonder. Okay, but whatever their elders are doing, it is their survival. Are you clear the difference between wonder or enjoyment and survival and responsibility? Absolutely, I think so. Because the children are doing the rag picking activity just for their fun. But the elders in the family are doing the same activity for their survival. If they stopped this activity, then their 2 times food or money is not getting, and their livelihood becomes difficult. That is why they are doing the work of the rag picking for the survival of their whole family. Okay, let's move ahead. One incident the writer, the author is explaining here, that I read from the textbook. One winter morning, I see Sahib standing by the fenced gate of the neighborhood club, watching 2 young men dressed in white playing tennis. I like the game, he hums, contented to watch it standing behind the fence. I go inside when no one is around. He admits the gatekeeper lets me use the swing. Sahib is saying that once winter morning, whenever he stood near the, we can say that tennis club, and he saw that 2 men wore a white dress of uniform no, but white dress, and they were playing the tennis. So Sahib has get the thought in his mind that he wanted to play the same thing, and he will get the enjoy in that thing. So whenever these 2 men went there, then the gatekeeper allowed him to use the swing of that garden or of that place wherever the 2 persons were playing the tennis. So the thought came in his mind. Students, see, whenever we are watching others, they are doing better than us, then we have some, we can say, jealousy as well as curiosity in our mind, that whatever that persons are doing the work, I have to do that work only. Means what? That is why the same, we can say that the thinking going on in the mind of the Sahib, and Sahib thought that I have to play the tennis. I like it to play. But do you know or do you think that someone is allowed to play the tennis to him? No, absolutely not. Okay, हम तुम लोग भी देखते हो कि हमारे घर के आसपास भी वो रैग पिकर्स आते हैं, तो we are saying, hey चलो भाई, चलो यहाँ से चले जाओ. Why? We are saying so, and why we are behaving with very rudely with them? क्योंकि हमको पता है वो कुछ चीज चोरी करके लेके जाते हैं, गेट खोल देते हैं हमारा, इस तरह से. Means what? There are 2 sides of the every kind coin. I know. I said to you. You know also that thing. कि every coin has 2 sides. One side is that we are behaving very rudely with them, and why they are doing so, why they are just keeping the things away from us, because they have to face such difficult situation in their life. Okay, here the writer is saying, Sahib too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. Someone gave them to me, he says in his manner of the explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes of some rich boy who perhaps refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them does not bother him. For one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. But the game he is watching so intently is out of his reach. This morning, Sahib is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is the steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says. Here, Sahib narrated one incident that to the author. Sahib is saying that I used to play tennis and I got the shoes also. Whenever the author noticed the shoes that the Sahib has worn, he found that the two shoes are different. One shoe has a hole inside, and the author thought that maybe it is that are the discarded shoes of the rich boy. Maybe because no one is ready to give the new shoes. तुम लोग दोगे तुम्हारे न्यू शूज है, मैं बोलूँगी चलो वो रैक पेपर को दे दो. Absolutely not. We are not ready to give our new shoes. Only the shoes which we are discarded, the clothes which we are discarded, we are used to give to others. The new clothes we are not ready to give to others. The same thing, Sahib has got the pair of shoes and he wore that shoes and told the author that I am ready to play tennis now because I got the shoes. He was so happy, students. He has get a happy feeling in his mind. Why? Because he got the shoes. Okay, so for them, we come to know that even the shoes is a very cheap thing, very we can say importance for them. Too much importance they are having, and they are giving it like the value. Shoes, क्या है हमको कुछ value भी नहीं देते. But for them, shoes is a basic thing. So once after few days, author again met Sahib. So he found that in the morning he got some job and he was working in a tea shop. The Sahib is used to work in a tea shop, and there at previously the author is saying that he was just carrying out the rag bags. Okay, they are less weight, but now the Sahib is carrying out the canister. Canister means cans. Milk की cans होती है, पता है ना? That is known as canisters. So Sahib used to carry out these canisters. They are much heavy as compared to the rag pickers bags because they are so lightweight, and the canister filled with milk, okay, or water, whatever, they are some, we can say that some amount very heavy in weight. So whenever author saw Sahib and asked what their conversation is, I am going to read here. The author is saying that this morning Sahib is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says. Pointing in the distance, I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I ask. His face, I see, has lost the carefree look. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he could carry so lightly over his shoulder. The bag was his. The canister belonged to the man who owns the tea shop. Sahib is no longer his own master. Dekho. Very nice. You can say that the author narrated the feeling of the Sahib's mind. So whenever the author went in the Simapuri and he found the Sahib was working there in a tea shop. So at previously what he was doing, he was just picking up the rags, okay, and just keep out that bag used over their shoulders. They are very lightweight because it contains only plastic material. But now Sahib has got the job and he is getting 800 rupees there with 2-time meal. So that is the whole thing he got, na? Students, for them 2-time meal is a much more thing, and parallelly he is getting 800 rupees. That is also a very great thing for Sahib. And now, what is the difference? Can you guess? And previously, whatever the work Sahib was doing, it is so. Okay, but now he has got the responsibility over him, and he is doing the work very responsibly. So casually, the author asked the Sahib that, do you like this job? So Sahib's answered, or he just had given the smile and said, Yes. So in his yes, the author found that his we can say carefree look has totally gone down. Had previously whenever author met him, the Sahib was having a very free look. Okay, but now he lost that carefree look. Why? Because he got some responsibility over his shoulder. In the practical job, what he was doing? Someday he is not going to picking up the rag. But nowadays, as he got the job, he has to go to that tea shop every day and carry out these heavier canister steel containers over his shoulder, and these canisters are much heavy, and that is why the writer is saying that Sahib is no longer his own master. This sentence has a great meaning, student. The Sahib is no longer his own master. Means what? Whenever he was a rat keeper, at that time, he was his own master. He was roaming here and there. No one has a command over him. But now, he got the owner. That the tea shop owner is the boss. And whatever the boss is saying, he has to do that job, no? So, the writer has used the word that Sahib is no longer his own master. So, students see, here we have completed this lesson. The completed means actually it has two parts. Only first part I have completed. Second part I will start after it immediately only. But just imagine that whenever this type of children we are meeting, sometimes we have a pity over them. But sometimes these children rob us. Okay, they cheat us. They deceive us. Deceitfully, these children are always used to speak a lie and they are cheating us. Okay, but whenever we found or we can familiar with the reality, we come to know that really they have a very, we can say, bad life. Okay, they can't enjoy their life because from the childhood only they got their responsibility and they are busy with their responsibilities, and because of that they are facing or they have to do the work. So whenever they comes in the age of 20 or 30, that person is a very responsible person. You just imagine or you can compare if, as you all students, as I told you, 15, 16 years old, okay? But you are very free and you don't have any maturity in yourself. But if you compare your age boys with of slum areas, they are more responsible than you. Okay, slum areas boys are supposed to you or sometimes they can deceive you. Okay, so at that time we come to know that life teaches us so many things. So one proverb is also there. Whenever we are in life, whenever we are finding the answer of the question, listen carefully. Whenever we are trying to find the answer of the question, what happens? Whenever we got the answer, life changes the question. Have you heard this proverb? Very nice proverb. Okay, so same thing in life happens with us. In every stages, the life is teaching us new experiences, and we have to learn all the new things. Sometimes we are taking it positively or negatively, depends on our choice. So, life teaches us so many things, and we have to face with them because we don't have other option. Like Sahib is a boy. Actually, he wanted to go in the school. He wanted to live a very happy life like other children, but he can't do. Why? Because the situation of Sahib is like this. He is not free. His parents has given the responsibility over his shoulder and he has to do the job. That is the difference. Here we found that. Okay students, so in 11th standard you enjoyed a lot, I know that. But in 12th, don't do this. Parallelly, whenever your lecture 3 or whenever the lecture you are going to use to see, you have to keep open your book. After listening my lecture, read the chapter thoroughly, because in between the content of the chapter the MCQs are coming in the exam. So at the last moment all the children are coming in the so much tension. So this year you have to plan your English lectures. Okay, because this time whenever the lockdown will open, 2 or 3 months, whenever it will take, I don't know. But parallelly, whenever you are attending the English lectures rather than PCMB, you just do it very thoroughly. Then only you can able to write the question answers or the objectives of the English. Clear? With this I am ending my lecture. In next lecture we will see the second part. The name of the second part is about the Bengal method. Okay, bye.